It's our pleasure to have everyone here. Welcome. These students, Building the TOMODACHI Generation program participants, worked very hard throughout these past 2 weeks. They bonded together, they really came up with great ideas, and we are really happy to really showcase what they have done throughout these 2 weeks. And they will be going back to Japan, only Japanese students, tomorrow, and they will present the winning projects to the people in Japan at the US Embassy. And also US students from the winning teams will travel to the Tohoku region at the end of July for volunteer work in the Tohoku region. So that will be the true conclusion of this project. And the Japanese students from the 2 winning teams will be joining them in the Tohoku region as well. So it's a really year-long project that starts from February but really ends in August with their volunteer work. And we really hope to continue this project with the students, really see the transformation they went through. We had a networking reception yesterday. Many of you came. Everyone was very impressed with the students. And my pleasure to have now Dr. Uchida from USJI for welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a joint event of the Washington Center and the US-Japan Research Institute on student presentation of Building the TOMODACHI Generation, engaging US and Japanese university students in social problem solving. I'm Katsuichi Uchida, President of USJI and also Vice President of Waseda University. USJI is a non-profit research institute in Washington, D.C., established in April 2009 by leading Japanese universities, namely Dosha, Keio, Kyoto, Kyushu, Tsukuba, University of Tokyo, Ritsumeikan, and Waseda universities, and financially supported by business societies of both United States and Japan. The mission of USJI is to promote policy-related research based on academic analysis, to nurture human resources, and to formulate a community of researchers and policymakers. TWC and USJI have jointly and successfully applied for TOMODACHI Fund for exchange, operated by US-Japan Council and the American Embassy in Japan. Through USJI, 16 students from 8 universities were selected, and these 16 students, mixed with 12 US students, received special valuable training on civil societies since February 15th. And they were divided into four groups, and each group has developed their own project to address the challenges faced in the Tohoku regions. This morning we are here to listen to new and innovative ideas and strategies of international students, of Japanese and American students. On behalf of USJI, I would like to thank the Washington Center for developing wonderful programs, and also sincerely thank to general supporters of this project: Hitachi Corporation, Mitsubishi Corporation, Toyota Motor Corporation, and Morgan Stanley. Thank you very much indeed. Before introducing other judges, I would like to ask to receive your permission of videotaping this event and open to the public through internet. Okay? Thank you very much indeed. And let me introduce other judges. Mr. Edward Mori, Inter-American Development Bank, and also Mr. Christopher Joseph Koch, Keys Point Advisors. Thank you very much.
We'll have Team Kibo present first.
Sorry, password.
Jose, we need your password. Then lock us out.
Do you want to yell over the microphone?
Good morning, and welcome everybody, and to the judges that have gathered here today. I'll introduce the Kibo Mobile project. In March 2011, the Tohoku region suffered severe natural disaster, and to this day, isolation still remains, and it taxes the people, communities, and families. This isolation is manifested in the form of increased suicide rates, increased domestic violence, and child abuse. In the wake of devastation, we wish to link community to community and bring back the sense of support to build a better Tohoku, bringing hope and encouraging active learning and recovery. Team Kibo proposes a mobile support group on a grassroots campaign throughout the Tohoku region, uniting individuals through arts and crafts, sports, informative classes, and good company. This is the Kibo Mobile project. Before the disaster, there was a strong local community, each dot representing the people in the community. When they had concerns about jobs or education, they would consult each other and solve the problem. However, after the disaster, people from different communities gathered in one shelter. Therefore, they had to live among people that they didn't know. So when they had concerns, such as having no homes or having no jobs, limited education, they would not be able to consult each other. And therefore, stress levels rising, and following to things like increase in domestic violence, increase in child abuse, and increase in suicide rates. Here is a diagram of the Fukushima prefecture. The colored dots represent people in a certain town. For example, the green dots, the green circles, they represent Namiya town. As you can see, the people of Namiya town have been displaced all over the northern region of Fukushima. We must address this problem now to prevent further catastrophe. Next, Mio will talk about what exactly is the Kibo Mobile.
Kibo Mobile would provide various activities to engage the people and people. For example, sport activities, arts and crafts, informational courses. By informational courses, we would like to provide, for example, anger management courses and to relieve the stresses of the Tohoku region people. Through these activities, we believe that we could engage people, for example, from the elderly generation to the small children, and get a firm bond within the community. Next, we would like to also propose the mural project. We would like to provide a canvas to each region as the mobile travels, and as the region receives their canvas, they can tell their own storytelling. By storytelling, we would like to show what do they feel when they were hit by the earthquake, or what do they want to do right now, or what are they feeling, what do they want from us. They can write all those things on these canvases, and we will send these canvases to the next region, and the next region will know that, oh, we're not alone. As a Tohoku member, we should collaborate together, and they will be reassured. And we believe that this engagement with communities and communities is very important. The Kibo Mobile program will provide, firstly, rebuild stable and warm environments. Tohoku region once was a very warm local environment. but it was lost because of the isolation of the earthquake. Isolation happened by the earthquake. We would like to encourage active participation among the participants and also encourage them to transform their community mindsets. By mindsets, we believe that although the Tohoku region people are the survivors, but also they're the creators of the new future of Tohoku region. Therefore, we would like them to have a more positive mindset so that they can build a better future for Tohoku region in a more faster and get their daily lives back again. Our goal is to reach 25,000 people within the first year. With this engagement, we believe that they can collaborate with each other and, as Yuko had mentioned before, decrease the isolation so that the suicide rates, domestic violence, and child abuse would greatly decrease in these regions. This project will take place in Miyagi Prefecture, which is a part of Tohoku region. We chose 5 cities: Sendai, Ishinomaki, Onagawa, Minami Sanriku, Kesenuma. The reason we chose these 5 cities is because, as it is shown on here, the population of people who still live in prefabricated housings are relatively high in these regions. We would like to have a fundraising campaign from June 2014 to March 2015. And after we got all the fundings and the staff members, we will actually have this program started on July 2015. The leader institution of this project will be Mr. Takaura from Tohoku University and Mr. Kazami from Miyagi University. The reason we chose these 2 professors is because Mr. Takaura is a specialist in the research of relationship between the business corporations and the nonprofit organizations, and we believe his knowledge would be very beneficial in implementing this program. Mr. Kazami is very passionate about rebuilding the Tohoku region, and he has participated in many projects before, and we believe that his experience could be a very strong leader in this program. We have 2 objectives for this program. Firstly, we would like to secure $418,520 to secure cash for both cash and in-kind gifts. For example, vehicles, the transportation fees, staff members, and program supplies. We would like to cooperate with various organizations which include Mizuno, Toshiba, Toyota, Tokyo Hands, and SoftBank. We are very confident about this partnership because we know that these corporations are very passionate about the rebuilding of Tohoku, and they have already donated so much money to the Tohoku region. Also, we would like to have a campaign to raise $260,700. We would also like to recruit 6 staff members and 2 American interns who are capable of speaking Japanese. This is because we would like the American interns to teach English and their American culture to Tohoku region people so that they won't be communicating or engaging only within their communities but also internationally. Next, I would like Courtney to explain about the fundraising and the budget planning.
So as Mio pointed out, our project will total a cost of $418,520. Our project will break down between 59.4% cash and 40.6% in-kind gifts. Our in-kind gifts include such things as 2 SUVs from Toyota and 2 mobile homes from Delta League. This budget also shows the breakdown of what other supplies we need and which one will be in-kind gifts and which ones will be funded by funds that we can raise. Such as the staff incomes and the various travel costs. Overall, the breakdown in total is $260,700 in cash, as Neo already told you, and also our in-kind gifts will be $157,820 of our budget. Our fundraising plan will go through 2 different partnership sectors. Major gifts will come from corporations, foundations, our government grants, and individual donors. Large individual donors, and our smaller gifts will come from social media campaigns and also crowdsourcing throughout the United States and in Japan. This infographic shows what we expect as far as our major gifts, how the breakdown will look. We have proposed that we will go through a a gift campaign of asking, for instance, 4 organizations or corporations for $25,000, 3 for $15,000, and 15 for $1 to $5,000, which will greatly decrease the amount of money we have to raise through small campaigns. This also shows the breakdown of what each organization that will partner with us will be giving in-kind gifts and the total dollar amount that those gifts will equal. Next, we'll talk about our communication and outreach campaign, which will go through various different sources of media. The first ones will be broad campaigns to get the information out there of what our campaign is doing, what we're planning on helping out with and working with. We'll also be having a social media campaign for telling people when we'll be there, posting pictures, what we're going to be doing, showing how we're affecting the communities. Our internet homepage will be updated by our interns who will who will talk about what their experience is in the community and how effective we are being. And then also our bi-weekly newsletter will show the donors and stakeholders how their money and their gifts are being used. Posters will be disseminated throughout the community to show communities when we'll be there and where we'll be located. Next, Yugo will finish up talking about our evaluation plan.
Before the project, the staff will take a survey to identify the needs of the community so as to have a standard to refer to. After each month, after every rotation, the staff will determine what objectives have been made and what adjustments must be made. After every 3 months, the staff will take another survey, this time to determine to what extent the community members were satisfied with our project. And then after every year, the staff will combine and gather all the information to create an annual report to give to the board, the partners, and the donors. This report will show how successful we were in reaching our mission, such as decreasing suicide rates.
As our personal reflection, we would like to express that through this experience, we have been able to collaborate as a diverse group to address issues and solve the problems facing the people in the Tohoku region. We have been able to apply what we have learned over the last 2 weeks and realize that making these projects requires a lot of work and a lot of dedication. We also have more appreciation for nonprofit organizations because, once again, we realize how hard it is for them to create a successful project. Through our shared experiences, we truly realize that as a team and as the Tomodachi generation, we are all vital parts in creating an active global citizenry. For the American students, we will be going home and encouraging our campuses, our communities, our families, and our friends to be more involved in their community programs and volunteer more often. We will also go through and we will raise awareness about the various disaster relief programs throughout the world when a disaster strikes, so we can all be more quick in the response.
In Japan, we will continue to revisit the Tohoku region, some of us whilst working, some of us whilst the volunteer centres in university, and we will implement what we have learned about the strong civil society in the US to Japan and to Tohoku to build a stronger civil society in the Tohoku region. We are the TOMODACHI Generation. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Can you give them another round of applause? As introduced, we have 3 judges here, so we'll give an opportunity for judges to ask questions first. And if we have a little extra time, we have 10 minutes for questions, and we'll open up to the audience.
Thank you very much for your very nice and impressive presentation. But I'd like to hear your comments about one thing, because you emphasize the isolation of the communities in Tohoku regions, and you are going to connect the peoples in a different local government in Tohoku region. Then how about the questions of the relation between the people in Tohoku regions and other part of Japan? How do you connect the mindset and help of the other regions to Tohoku regions?
Well, what we're focusing on is regional recovery, and right now, in the short term, we're focusing on specifically the Tohoku region. But then, as we're going to evaluate ourselves after 1 year, and we hope to expand our project throughout the whole of Japan and in future disasters. So that's kind of an evolving discussion that we're going to be having. So we're going to, as we said, we're going to have the surveys, and we're going to keep going back, and we're going to figure out what works, what the Japanese people are responsive to. And we want to keep expanding. In the first year, we're going to have the meeting. And then the following years, that we're going to have different types of projects, whether it be art or music or just open discussion or maybe like some type of summer camp. So once again, it's going to be an evolving project, but right now we're just focusing on the Tohoku, going bigger long term.
Thank you for the presentation. Really congratulate the team. My question is related to two issues. One, how you see the sustainability of this initiative? How sustainable, or is just a on-time initiative? Meaning looking for replicability. And you mentioned the end that will be the annual report will be presented to the board. Just wonder how this board, the governance of this board. Thank you.
I'll answer this second question first, actually. So in reality, we have a group of advisors. It's not necessarily a board, so it won't be governed or anything. It will just be a group of advisors, such as our professors and other local community leaders who will help us guide it. And we want them to be able to see the reports so that, to be able to give them the reports so that they can see how effective our project's being, and maybe we can discuss how we can change and be more effective in the future. And as far as also sustainability for the project, as Will said, we are looking at just a local region right now, but we are hoping that since we know that this project would be successful in the first, since we assume this project will be successful in this first year through our research and our discussions, we hope that our partnerships will be long-term, especially with the universities, that because they are such big proponents of these types of community outreach programs, these two universities, that they will stay on with us and help us create a sustainable program that maybe the universities can take on and have their students instead volunteer. So instead of keeping one staff in the central area, and then we can disperse.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation. My name is Christopher Cook, and I'm very excited to be here today. Be part of the judges panel. I've been following the program very closely. I feel it's a very strong and well-programmed program that's put together very well. Like each of you, I'm also a global citizen, and I'm proud to see that each of you are taking part in this program. My question has to do first with sort of ramping up for the program, and how do you envision gathering support prior to your launch in June of 2015?
As we've already stated before, we plan to talk with the universities and the professors, the people from the University of Tohoku, the people from the University of Miyagi. And why we found them is because we believe they have credibility. They are very fond of the Tohoku region. They are involved in solving problems in the Tohoku region, and through their credibility, we believe that we will get support. We have also selected companies that have a very strong CSR, are very engaged in CSR projects, and therefore we are thinking that because of this credibility, we will be able to gather enough support to actually fundraise this project.
Thank you. And Courtney, you talked a little bit about the mediums that you would employ to promote and create awareness around this program. What's sort of beyond social media, or actually including social media, post the initial phase of the project, how would you continue to utilize media, and what forms of media would you continue to use?
After the project is already it's like funded and everything.
That's correct.
Is that okay? We plan to use social media and various other, through applications and phone application-based to be able to connect to the people in the communities as a technological way instead of just posters and things like that. Be able to have the people see where our little mobiles are moving and things like that to expect when we'll be showing up. Additionally, we'll be using social media to show later on how our projects are through through images, videos that we post and tweets and various things to show that we are connecting with these communities and to show the true connection that we're making.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have a follow-up?
I'm also just going to piggyback off of that. Some of the ideas that we're also throwing around were that we were going to have the interns kind of keep an updated blog on our website, and the website would also act as a medium, so the residents that we reach out to, they'd be able to go onto the website and tell their stories if they feel so inclined, and as well as we'll have an interactive map that we'll be posting specific pictures and videos that each city on the map that we had up earlier, so people will actually be able to follow us as we go along, and then the residents can put their stories under each of the cities.
Very good, thank you.
Any questions from the audience? We have a microphone here. We have another round of applause. Before you go down, why don't you introduce your name and university? Because you didn't get to introduce yourself before you presented. So why don't you do that before you go down?
Hello, I'm Yugo Kimura from Waseda University in Tokyo.
I'm Courtney Endart. I am from the College of Idaho, and I'm a junior.
Hello, my name is Mio Maria. I am from Keio University. I'm Star Wen. I'm from High Point University.
My name is Tsuyoshi Imanishi from Doshu University in Kyoto.
I'm Will Adams from the University of Florida.
I'm Kaori Nishio from Doshu University. Thank you. Thank you, Team Kibo. Kibo means hope for those people who have English as a native language. So I would like to welcome Team 2, Kizuna. Kizuna means a bond.
Okay, we're going to start. Our project name is the Kizuna Initiative, and we'll be introducing the Building the Bond pilot program. My name is Asuka.
My name is Thomas. Sorry, my name is Ryo Oyama.
My name is Harika Ochi.
My name is Jose Alfan.
I'm Natsuko Ogata. Hi, I'm Suzanne Fiesenay.
And before we begin, we'd like to show you a conceptual video.
We all remember where we were on that day when the disaster struck. But do we know where the victims are today? 240,000 homes were destroyed in the Miyagi Prefecture. As of January 2014, only 322 homes have been rebuilt since the disaster. This is a very, very small number, considering the fact that it has already been 3 years since the disaster has struck. This is a very big issue because many people are still in temporary housing, and this is a very big stress for the people in the Tohoku region. What is missing in Japan today in the Tohoku region is Kizuna, the bond between people.
So what are the main problems facing the Miyagi Prefecture today? There's a lack of awareness on the ongoing problem within the Miyagi Prefecture. The rest of Japan has moved on because it does not affect them on daily life, but the people within Tohoku and within Miyagi are constantly faced with this disaster every day. The youth within Miyagi have spread out to all corners of Japan, and they've moved on because they've forgotten, and that has left an inordinate amount of stress on the older generation within Miyagi. They cannot rebuild alone. This has only furthered the isolation of the region and furthered the hopelessness of the people.
And I felt this very, very strongly when last summer I visited the Tohoku region. I talked to the people in the temporary housings. They told me the lack of awareness in the rest of Japan compared to the Tohoku people. And they were very concerned about the youth generation moving out of the region. And finally, more than anything, they were very, very stressed out about the fact that they had to live in temporary housings even after 3 years after the disaster. Therefore, our mission is to build homes.
How are we going to build the homes?
Well, we're going to select 120 students from all over Japan from 12 prefectures. And we're going to have them engaged in an intensive 2-week educational program. They're going to go through seminars, and they will also learn teamwork, construction, and bonding. To be more precise, we're going to have, for the first 4 days, they're going to go through seminars, and they will have classes from government officials and NPO leaders, and they will learn about the current situation of the Tohoku as well as the reconstruction of the Tohoku. Also, they will learn about civil society. This is very important because even after the program, these students will be able to cooperate and be able to participate in the reconstruction of the Tohoku. And after the 4 days, they will engage in a homestaying program for 1 week. They will stay at the local families, and this is very important as this will build a bond between the people in the Tohoku and the rest of Japan, as well as between the young generation and the elderly generation. And thirdly, during the day, they will be building houses, and we're going to have partnership with the Habitat for Humanity. And also, by building houses, the students will learn teamwork, as well as empowerment, the belief that they themselves can make a difference in the Tohoku region. And also, finally, the bond among the 120 students from all over Japan, as well as between the people of the Tohoku region and the rest of Japan, and also between the young generation and the elderly generation. And after, on the final 2 days, they will be visiting the temporary housings, and they will be talking to the elderlies and listening to their concerns. And we believe that that will be a healing for the elderlies in the temporary housings.
Here is a concept program schedule that would show the intensive educational 2-week seminar we're going to provide to the students. As you can see, it's full of educational opportunities as well as civic engagement.
Now that we've described the big challenge in the Tohoku region as well as our solution, let's talk about our initiative structure.
The Kizuna initiative does not seek to create a separate NPO. Rather, we want to partner with organizations that already exist within Tohoku Region. Specifically, we want to exist under the umbrella of the Tomodachi initiative. Partnering with them will allow us and them to maximize our effect on helping the region. The specific structure of the organization is this. We will have an advisory board made up of members from the Tomodachi initiative. We will have an executive director who will have success leading programs similar to ours. He will have the on-the-ground networking within Tohoku Region, and he will be able to bridge cross-sector gaps to raise funds and secure in-kind donations for our program. Someone on the level of Nodo Yuki from Toshiya, Japan. And here's our budget. This budget includes all of the administrative, personal, and communicative costs. It comes up to a total of $328,000. Specifically, one point of interest is the camera crew. We're going to film these students while they go through this program, and after the program ends, we will create a documentary that will highlight to the donors and to highlight to future potential students the awesome ability that this program has to impact them and impact Tohoku and impact Japan.
Next, we believe that it is very important to use the tools that are already there. Therefore, we plan to bridge with government sectors, private sectors, and non-profit sectors. We truly believe that cross-sector partnership is the key for the success of their program. And next, for the fundraising strategy, we plan to have 53% from private sectors, and 37% from nonprofit sectors, and 6% from individuals, and 4% from the government.
So how would the government help with this project? The government would help through this project with allowing us to use publicly owned accommodations to house the students during the 2 weeks. Additionally, the Japanese Self-Defense Force, Miyagi Prefecture employees, and Sendai City officials would meet with the students for educational seminars to teach them how that day happened, how the rebuilding process has happened, and to empower them with information about civic societies.
And for the private sector, we'll have partnerships with such as Coca-Cola, ANA, KHB, Mitsubishi. And the money is going to be used for students' expense such as food, transportation, and also t-shirts. And they will be wearing that while building the houses, so to build a more strong bond between the students.
One of the most important aspects of our organization is our partnership with the nonprofit sector. Specifically, we will operate under the umbrella of Tomodachi. That will allow us access to their network of connections for fundraising and organizational infrastructure that will empower us to maximize our benefit. Additionally, we will partner with Youth for 311 for volunteers. Youth for 311 is a volunteer youth platform, and we will use these volunteers as chaperones for the program. Additionally, Habitat for Humanity in Japan already has organizations on the ground to build homes, and we will partner through them to construct the actual homes.
And we have 4 main action steps. First is to secure about $328,000. And secondly, to organize the program content. And thirdly, to select 120 students from all over Japan from 12 prefectures to engage in our 2-week program. And fourthly, and finally, to evaluate our progress. And this is a brief timeline for our action steps.
So how does the selection process look? We will operate with the regional coordinator will operate with the education committee of 12 prefectures to spread the word and advertise the program. Students will then apply to the program, and the specific students we are looking for are students with good academic standing and a strong desire to help Tohoku and a strong desire to participate in civic engagement. And finally, how will we evaluate our program's goals? We will want to evaluate the program's goals based on community impact. What does that mean? Well, we will give questionnaires to the homestay families to determine whether or not we have helped them overcome their isolation or whether or not they feel empowered. We will build houses. That was one of the biggest metrics, is did we build the houses that we planned to build? Additionally, did we change the students' perceptions about their ability to engage in civic society? Are they empowered to participate in civil society? And we will do that through daily reflections and through questionnaire surveys at the end. Specific questions could be, do you feel like you have changed Japan for the better? And finally, we will constantly evaluate our own program to see if we are meeting the objectives of the goal. And if we are not, we will figure out a way to re-engage ourselves to carry out the objectives that govern what we want to do.
And finally, we'd like to each say a little bit about our personal reflections.
As an American, I've learned through this program that a small cadre of individuals can engage in civic society and make a difference in their community. If there's a problem in your community, you can fix it if you partner with organizations and partner with cross-sector alliances.
I personally learned the importance of kizuna and bonding. Oh, that would probably include cross-sector partnership. I think it's really important to collaborate.
As a lot of my family members, and I'm originally from Tohoku, Miyagi Prefecture, I observed the fact that even people in Tohoku are not aware of the potential of civic engagement. So when I go back to Japan, I would like to let my community know the potential of civic engagement by telling them my experiences here in DC.
This experience has helped me see that each day we're living in a more interconnected world, where bridging is not a commodity but a necessity. We need help. Everybody has to give a little bit in order to get the world to a better place. So what I've learned is that even though we're different people from different countries and different thoughts, we can actually get together, think, come up with solutions that are viable, long-lasting, and transforming, and share it with the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Not to suggest that you might be influencing the judges in any way, but would it be possible for each of us to get a copy or one of those T-shirts?
We can work on it.
I have two or three questions. I'll just present them first, and then if you can just address them. The first is if you've conducted any sort of feasibility studies related to how you would get buy-in from the community, and secondly, you conducted any studies with regard to the homestay aspect of your program and how that would be accepted or potentially not accepted. And the final has to do with fundraising and how you would address any shortfalls that you may encounter prior to your launch.
I'll happily take that question. I'm sorry, because I don't have a... Okay. Wow. So, the first thing would be the aspect of the budget. Yes, we are starting, and since we're going to bridge with certain organizations that already have an established system, we hope that first we can count on them, at least for the first time, the first program, the pilot program. After that, we've actually developed a few ideas of things that the company could sell, such as wristbands, but special wristbands that you could write your name and then give to your friends, like exchange them. That way, you would be creating real bonds between the people. So it's that type of merchandising that goes around the bonding, which is kizuna, and what we want to develop. On the other aspect, we definitely understand that, yes, we need to develop ourselves as a more developed project. But again, always doing the partnerships, and I don't.
Okay, well, I can actually address the homestay question. We actually had all of the Japanese students answer a few questions regarding how comfortable they would be having individuals who they don't know stay in their home. And it was 10 to 2, so 10 out of all the 12 that we interviewed said that they would be comfortable having people stay in their homes, and then they also would be comfortable staying in other people's homes. So the numbers were pretty good for us.
And again, our Japanese counterparts, they've actually told us that similar initiatives have been done in the past, where people, even though the Japanese culture might be a very private, they've opened up because of the importance that this represents to them.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I have 2 questions. One, since that one of the key factors would be attracting these 120 students. First, I wonder what incentives do you want to make it be in place for attract and in terms of how to keep again the issue of sustain this program, how to make it a virtual cycle in order to continue to attract this cycle. And also, I noticed that you have a structure in place, that you're going to hire a CEO, put a structure in place, a decision-making process. And I just wonder who is going to make this selection process of how you're going to make this, the process of to put this structure in. Thank you.
I'll address the first question. So in regards to getting 120 students interested in our program, we have plans to go into the schools and to just showcase what the opportunity that we have available to them. We believe that by using media, we can make the program very attractive. And we're also planning to use our government partnerships to make it a well-established and prominent kind of program. And then in terms of keeping students and gaining them over the years, because we do want it to be a yearly program, we will be using the documentary as a main media source to show to all of the students. When the students go home to their home schools, they'll be presenting their project and their personal experience along with the documentary. So we believe that would make it very attractive.
And if I can add something to it, the way that we're gonna promote it, as you saw, when the kids were building the projects, they were laughing, they were smiling, because they know they're working for their country. They're working for the future. So we'll impact that consciousness so that it starts to grow in them, and once they go back to their schools, they can tell their friends how much of a good time, how good they feel, and that way the helping bug could spread around Japan.
And as for the final question about who will make the decision of hiring the executive, partnering with Tomodachi, so Tomodachi would be responsible for actually hiring the executive. We would just give advice on what type of executive we would need for the needs of our program.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your presentation. I understand you have raised 2 objectives. One is the connection of the high school student to Tohoku Region. That's very good ideas. But I'm not quite sure you raised another objective to build housing, and how this project relate to the building housing.
Are you trying to say that why is building the Kizuna, how is it related to building the houses? Well, mainly because, first of all, building the houses it's going to have Kizuna among the students, the 120 students who are going to gather from all over Japan. So that's going to include the Tohoku area people. So that's going to be a kizuna among the students. That's going to be, we believe that that's very important. And so that's one big issue. And also by building the houses, like I think by engaging in that, like the memories stay. And so even when after the houses are built and the elderly and the families are staying inside, they will always remember that the kids had participated in that program and that they have worked really, really hard. And I think that's a really huge bond and kizuna there and in shape. Did that answer your question?
May I add? So a big thing for us was building a sense of empowerment in the Japanese youth. So we found in our experience through the Tomodachi program that when we had the opportunity to go out and get physical as a team and do strength building and bonding, we were able to grow and we were able to talk and we felt more empowered. We felt that more things we could do were possible. So there was a sense of pride that developed when we were doing something physical together that mattered as a team. So thank you.
Thank you.
Questions from the audience? You can ask questions now.
Hi, Shotsu Yuki from Waseda University, currently an intern at the U.S.-Japan Council. Thank you for your presentation. My question is about the long-term perspective of the Kizuna initiative. I recognize that one of the main issues of volunteering or going to the Tohoku regions for these kind of projects is the long-term engagement of the students that have been to Tohoku. You mentioned that there would be a presentation by these students for the next generation, for the next year of students, but after that, what are these students going to be doing? How are they going to continue to raise awareness about Tohoku when they go back home? And how is Kizuna Initiative going to encourage them to stay engaged? And another question is, are there any methods of measuring the effects of what these students have on raising awareness back home through this program? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. In regards to the first aspect, the great thing about our initiative is that it can mold, it can change as the needs change. Right now, the big problem is the home living. So yes, we want to address that. We want to get the kids engaged, or the young generation engaged in helping and building these homes. But as time progresses, of course, the housing aspect will eventually be solved. But there's always room to improve society. And how we will have a long-lasting effect is by analyzing our mission, our structure, and evolving around the needs of the people. Not just sticking to one thing, but as other problems become a priority, address them. Thank you. And the second?
Can I add to the first answers to him? And also we are thinking of holding some seminar learning in the first 4 days and the last 3 days in this seminar. And in these seminars, high school students are supposed to learn what's the current problem and what has been done and what hasn't been done in the past 3 days. In this day, and these high school students are also doing interaction with the people who actually live in temporary housing, which can be quite influential to their mindset. So I believe that those kind of real hands-on experience with local people will have a great impact on high school students, which encourages them to feel like getting involved in this recovery process of Tohoku area in the long term.
Any other questions? Ms. Saki?
Thank you.
Oh, one more question?
No, I mean, for him. Please.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed your presentation, and building homes is definitely a very, very important part of rebuilding in Tohoku. I think it's wonderful that there's high school students involved, but I'm kind of wondering, how about university students? Could they be involved? And perhaps from the US as well, somebody who has experienced Habitat for Humanity. Have you considered that? Thank you.
Having worked for Habitat for Humanity and volunteering within the stricken area of New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, I can tell you that a program like this really does stay with you. And with regards to including the university students, Youth for 311 is a university-based volunteer program, and they will be sending 12 volunteers to our program to act as chaperones for the students. So along with the 120 students, there will also be 12 university students participating in the program, living with and homestaying with other people in Tohoku. So we are involving both the university and the high school.
Thank you.
If there is no more questions, I would like to ask you to just mention your university and your name again.
My name is Thomas Browning. I go to the University of Pikeville in Pikeville, Kentucky.
My name is Asuka Kobayashi. I go to Keio University. Thank you.
My name is Ryo Oyama from Kyoto University.
My name is Haruka Uchi from the University of Tsukuba.
My name is Jose Manuel Alfan from the Inter-American University of Puerto Rico.
My name is Natsuko Ogata. I'm from the University of Tokyo.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Bizame, and I'm with Anderson University in Anderson, South Carolina.
Thank you, Team Kizuna.
Thank you.
Now I would like to welcome the team of creators of Henkaku, which is a combination of English and Japanese. Henkaku means change.
Good afternoon. My name is Benjamin Peebles, and I'm from the Richard Stocking College in New Jersey.
Hello, my name is Takumi Nakamura from Waseda University.
Hello, my name is Ai Shigematsu from Kyushu University.
Hi, I'm Brittany Bonaz from Westfield State University in Massachusetts.
I'm Sumireko Tomita from Ritsumeikan University.
I'm Noriaki Santo from the University of Tsukuba.
Esteemed judges, members of the audience, I am Rachel Soloway, and I present to you the creators of Henkaku. 13 days ago, I walked into the Washington Center's residential and academic facility with what I thought at the time was an open mindset. Throughout the next week, we were presented with an array of information and effects resulting from the triple disaster. Each of these diverse aspects began to correlate with one another, allowing each of us to broaden our foundation of knowledge as individuals. Initially, we were exactly that, individuals. However, last Saturday during a ropes course activity, I looked 12 feet up in the air at my group and I realized that our once individualized group no longer existed. Trusting in each other and sharing our stories and personal insight really brought our group to life. In the Tohoku region of Japan, this kind of life has truly dwindled. However, Tomodachi has inspired this operation with hope and friendship. Further, our project uses photojournalism to create awareness, support, and ultimately an artistic outlet that will rid Tohoku of the psychological debris that the triple disasters really left behind. The 7 of us stand before you today, not as individuals, but as a union. Our goal is remembrance. Please do not forget this region. I'd now like to introduce my friend and my teammate, Mr. Noriaki Santo.
Thank you very much, Rachel. I want to talk about the background of our project.
While Japan undergoes the task of recovering and rebuilding the devastated land caused by the natural disaster on March 11th, the population as a whole has become indifferent to the struggle of the region and its people. The vast majority of Japanese are just satisfied with the removal of debris, gradually forgetting about the disaster. And the survivors, they still have a lot more time and support to aid their mental recovery. But today, I'm proud to introduce our project, Operation Sakura Lens, which will definitely help the survivors relieve their mental anguish and all the people in Japan to remember the disaster. In Japan, Sakura, or cherry blossoms, stand for rebirth. And here in Washington, D.C., friendship between Japan and the United States. We named our project Operation Sakura Lens so that it can contribute to rebirth of the Tohoku region and even foster our friendship. In this project, we will partner with professional photographers, send them to the elementary and junior high schools in the devastated regions, and to give lectures how to take pictures, and take students on field trips to conduct interviews with the survivors living there. And after the lectures, the students in the classroom, students talk about their experiences and integrate their opinions and their photos into handout. And their handout would be exhibited in the exhibition all over Japan.
Next up, we have the overall goal and strategy of our initiative. We've divided the two into columns based on Objective 1 and 2 being resilience and relief as Objective 1, remembrance as Objective 2. However, Operation Sakura Lens will actually educate the youth through the photojournalism elective, which will take place in the classrooms. The majority of the schools that we have chosen have offered it once or twice per week, depending on the school, which is up to the principal or teacher in that case. Basically, the 24 schools in the eastern Tohoku region that we will be able to elect due to the application process will allow the students to interview and photograph these survivors while listening to and really sharing their stories. This will not only positively contribute to their education, but also to their psychological relief, focusing on our first objective. In fact, cognitive behavioral therapy actually requires patients suffering from PTSD, which the majority of the students in these demographics have really had to deal with, to really encourage them to talk about their experiences in what we would classify as an emotionally open environment. This really focuses on the youth, and we urge you to look toward the future, because these children are our future generation. This program could ultimately continue and educate those not only who are currently in the school system, but who will be next year and the year after, and ultimately a really sustainable program. It's vital that emotionally, these people in devastated areas have access to a kind of environment that they feel comfortable enough to really share their stories and overcome their challenges. And we would like to provide this kind of an environment. By speaking about their experiences and their individual stories, I think they'll really learn from one each other and showcase one person's story, one person's trials and tribulations, really showing how resilient they've been throughout their individual lives. We will also utilize our public awareness campaign in order to broadcast these stories in an array of public viewers throughout Japan, because each individual story is uniquely important, and we believe that if given the opportunity, we could truly show this. Art as a means of expression has the power to heal, and photojournalism not only takes art and education, but it also takes the student's ability to interpret it and write about it.
Now here is a brief timeline for our project, which starts in April of 2014 and ends in August of 2015. The timeline is divided into 4 phases: the preparation phase, implementation phase, education phase, and exhibition phase. Let's just take a look at it. So in the preparation phase, after the successful fundraising, we will consult with local school boards to decide applicants for our project in 3 different prefectures in Japan, each of which is Iwate, Miyagi, and Fukushima, and hired 12 professional photographers. And we will send 12 professional photographers to 24 schools chosen to give lectures about disaster relief and photojournalism. After receiving lectures, accompanied with the photographers, students go on a field trip to take pictures of the devastated regions and conduct interviews with those, with the survivors living there. After they go back to school, they are given opportunity to talk about their feelings and thoughts about their experiences and integrate their opinions and their photos into handouts, each of which will be on school exhibitions.
The exhibition phase that Santo has basically highlighted, we would like to utilize the concept of building from the ground up. This campaign is all-encompassing, and in order to share Tomodachi's values of friendship and hope, we would like to lead in the direction from beginning with the school level and going ultimately all the way up nationally. So beginning with community, obviously all the 24 schools would definitely be included in this aspect. We have set the date for June 17th. Next, we will move to the prefectural level, being one of the three. Each of the three will have their own exhibition, and it will take place in the government hall, which involves us interacting with the local government, which we have discussed and view as a very feasible goal. The actual photo gallery in Sendai will be the regional level, and ultimately, ideally, we will be able to gather all of these people together, and similarly to our group, create a union in order to reach the national level in Tokyo. On August 11th, we'd like to create the first annual exhibition in order to keep the reoccurrence and keep this memory alive. This pyramid basically shows how building from the ground up will not only gather support, but it will really unite all of these people so that when we ultimately have this first annual exhibition in Tokyo, Japan, all of the past participants and current participants will look towards the future and unite and continue. So for example, we chose the week August 8th through 11th as the holiday so that all the students and their families would be able to come and see their own students' art exhibited and allow all of the survivors, if possible, to share their story and also see it and see the reaction that is had on a national level. Because we believe that this kind of disaster really needs national support, and we would like to unite them through our initiative. I'd like to introduce Rika at this time.
Thank you, Rachel. So there are the 12 photographers that we're going to work with. Some of them are from Tohoku, some of them are not, but all of them are working for the project in Tohoku. Kei Sato in the middle. He's from Iwate, and he lost his mother by tsunami on this March 11th. When he overcome of suffer of loss of his mother, he started to take pictures. He started to take pictures of his hometown that completely changed by tsunami, and to find the memories with his mother. So he can share his suffer with the kids, and children can understand each other and make bonds. His wife, Natsuki Yasuda, who is also a photojournalist, she's working on a photo project with children in Iwate Prefecture. I myself aspire to be a professional photographer. These, all of the photographies in this PowerPoint are my pictures. And I go to Tohoku area every 3 months since earthquake happened. As I do volunteer work, I take pictures. First, I was just documenting what was going on in Tohoku area, but I started to share the pictures on Facebook. And my friend started to tell me, "Oh, I saw your pictures on Facebook. That was really intensive. I really want to do something for Tohoku. Can I help your organization?" That's when I realized pictures can make a difference. I started to organize a photo exhibition in Japan and in the United States. In Japan, I wanted to tell the reality, what is going on in Tohoku, to the people who lives far away from Tohoku area, not to forget the Tohoku. And in the United States, when I did the photo exhibition, I wanted to tell thank you to the United States for the Operation Tomodachi. And what a coincidence, here I am, I'm joining the Building TOMODACHI Generation. These pictures are from the exhibition in the United States. Not only American students came, but the international students from all over the world stopped by the photo exhibition and left a heartwarming message to cheer up Tohoku. From this experience, I believe in the power of picture. Picture can make a difference. And we, Operation Sakurarans, can make a difference in people's mindset and create the better future for the kids in the mental recovery. And we can make a change in Japan and in the world. Thank you.
In order to do what Reko has initially dreamed of, we would like to umbrella under the Tomodachi Initiative. Because like she said, she joined this program after doing this entirely on her own. Tomodachi actually yields a lot of the same values that we do. So in order to build from the ground up, we would umbrella underneath them and be a sister program so that it would still utilize the different donor bases that they have, including the volunteer base, in order to really reach out cross-culturally and help others understand while really allowing the children to educate. The government sector that we are hoping to partner with is the local school boards in the different 12 cities that we have chosen. And ultimately, the infrastructure will really rely on the private sector for in-kind donations and nonprofit for personal or actual support based for our public awareness campaign. As far as the in-kind donations, we'd like to utilize Microsoft, Canon, and Fujifilm, and also Nikon as well, in order to get the actual supplies that will be delivered to the different schools by the 12 photojournalists. These 12 photojournalists will actually act as catalysts for change in a sense, where they will be able to aid the teachers in the actual classrooms and teach these children not only about the materials themselves, but about how to utilize them in a way that will really help their learning process and ultimately educating those around them. Our total budget is $220,000, $500 give or take, and the majority of the cash donation would really just cover our salary for the different staff members that we would like to pay, including the 12 photojournalists.
Now, in order to make our project successful, how can we reach out to the public? So we will use various kinds of media, such as our homepage, of course, and publicizing campaign via Fujifilm or Nikon, and social media, such as Twitter or Facebook. And newsletters or news coverage of the exhibitions would be effective on senior generation too. And here's another important factor to keep our project successful. Solid evaluation criteria. We will evaluate the outcome for the impact we made for the society following these 4 criteria. And it will definitely help us what improvements are needed in the future and even make this project an annual event.
At this point, I'd actually like to ask Ben to begin the personal reflection.
I'd like to begin, my name's Ben again. I'd like to begin by thanking everyone who made this possible. This has truly been a transformative experience for me. And everything that you see in this presentation, it's been a compromise, and I really appreciate having the opportunity to do this. I'm not going back to school after this. I graduate in May, but I will become a citizen of, I guess, the world. And because of this, I think I will be a better one for it.
From this project, I am more than confident that we can be united, working together for the better future.
Through this project, I learned importance to continue approaching to disaster area, to the Japan, to the United States, to the public, And I can say the same thing to how to approach to this team.
From this experience, I've learned the art of becoming a cohesive team. We're all so different and we bring so much to the table, but communication and understanding really helped us build not only a great project, but friendships, and I'm really appreciative of this opportunity that we've been given.
Through this experience, I learned the importance of make a change to take a risk to make a difference in the world. Just like my favorite quote by Gandhi, be the change that you want to see in the world.
I'm actually really proud that we can accomplish one thing that could not be carried out by individual. Thank you.
These 6 individuals have truly created change in my life already. And this program as an entirety has done for me what no other program has actually done, which is really redefine teamwork. Our operation is vital to the psychological recovery of the survivors in this region. And although 13 days ago I really thought that I had an open mindset, it's been redefined. Thank you all for your time, and we'll open the floor now for questions.
Thank you for your presentations. My question related to the questions of the connection between the local peoples in Tohoku regions with other part of Japan, and how can you get the national support for this project?
So we want this project to be Tohoku by Tohoku. So we get the stories of the people of Tohoku told by themselves and by their community members. Then we want to bring that to a national level and display it in a regional gallery. And we also want to do it in Tokyo at a national exhibition for 4 days. And prior, in the lead up to that, we will have rather strategic marketing plan. We're going to use a lot of earned media. We're going to generate earned media and create interest in the project itself so that people actually come to the exhibition. Once they come to the exhibition, they will see these stories of the survivors of Tohoku. Because we think that telling what the stories of the events is important, what is critical is telling the stories of the people. And if we can get people into the room where these stories are displayed, we think that we can connect the people of Japan at large to the individuals in the Tohoku region.
Thanks for the presentation. I have 2 questions. In the beginning of the presentation, it was mentioned that the population in Japan has become different after the several years after the March 11th. But I wonder first, how do you think the population become more touched, or what are the expected outcome once you have this Sakura Lens operation? That's my first question. The second question is, how your efforts will be differentiated with other journalistic initiatives that we have in the media. So, thank you.
I'm going to take question 1, if you don't mind. You spoke about change in the population. So ideally, we'll begin with the current student base in the 24 schools, and by involving elementary and junior high school, we'll be encouraging the second year of the program to expand to high school and ultimately become on the collegiate level, thus increasing the population every single year. Obviously, the budget will change due to that, but we think that by starting locally and ending nationally, it's going to be a bit easier to gather support and increase our numbers every single year through every single initiative. We have 12 photojournalists now, but as Rekko pointed out and will continue to speak on, I'm sure, there are so many different organizations backed and really front-run by these 12 photojournalists that would definitely like to get involved. We've also begun reaching out to these different photojournalists as far as their work goes in the past and how they would look towards the future as far as not only increasing the exhibits, but increasing the amount of photojournalists and different photographers that would like to take part in it. And we've had a really, really positive response so far. So I would definitely say that the initiative could expand. We're flexible to that. But ultimately, the population will grow undoubtedly.
Would anyone else like to take question 2? Yeah, okay. So for question 2, how do we differentiate this? This has the education aspect, so we will give the people of Tohoku the opportunity to tell their own stories through the school children of Tohoku. So the art exhibitions that will be created to create the public awareness and generate the art media and the interest and connect those in Tohoku to each other and to Japan will be different because it's done by the people of Tohoku. Rather than having a photojournalist document it, it is an oral history project of sorts. It's people telling their own stories, and it has that education aspect. It also has this, the mental health aspect, and that there's been a concentration on clearing the physical debris, but clearing that psychological, that mental debris that remains. That is the focus, the main focus of this project, and it gives students the opportunity to engage in dialogue with one another, and it gives the people, the older generation, to engage in dialogue with one another and with the students about their experiences. And it's through that shared dialogue that they will come to be healed. That is all.
Thank you. I enjoyed your presentation. You talked a little bit about or could you talk a little bit more about the educational element with regard to the children? The ages that you reference are age 6 to 15. And will they need to, how will they be selected? Will they need to demonstrate any sort of, creativity or artistic or interest in photography? So could you talk a little bit about more of the educational elements? Obviously, children of age 6 have a different degree of understanding than a 15-year-old may have.
Well, like we said before, there's an elective period for these different schools. There might be 1 or 2 times a week. So our education plan is to kind of focus on photojournalism, but not only that, to incorporate disaster relief and recovery to let the students know about what they're doing and what they're about to see and what they're going to be photographing. Interest in photography would be great, but they're also learning how to take photos. So yeah, so 6 through 15 is a broad age range, but starting out from the youth, 6 to 15 is a broad range, but I guess what we think is that we want to just encourage everyone to be able to participate in this opportunity, to be able to kind of mentally leave themselves and to be able to learn this stuff. They can do it yearly. It's going to be an annual process.
I'm going to touch on the application process that you inquired about. Basically, we have selected the 24 schools based on having an equal number of junior high schools and elementary schools, and ultimately that allows us to really allow these students in this age range to interact with one another. Ultimately, our goal is to expand, but I believe that we really looked into the educational system, providing that we had a lot of different students from both private and public schools. We found that by having junior high and elementary, the curriculum was much more open to this kind of an elective, and to really incorporate the staff that they already have there, to let the teachers work with our photojournalists. Basically, the photojournalist would be able to act as a teacher aide, or what we would classify in the United States as like a teacher assistant. So basically, the writing element would still be the teacher in the school, and thus we would elect these schools based on their interest in allowing their students to have creative writing courses, because a lot of the structure in high school and collegiate, obviously, is more based on major and doesn't really have as much of an opportunity. So we figure by beginning in the lower age range, we'll be able to circulate higher much easier.
May I give one more thing to that? The students themselves, you asked about the students will be selected, they'll be self-selected. We will select the schools and then offer an elective course in that school which will do this project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions from the judges? No? No? Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, thank you,
Please.
team. Now I would like to welcome the last team, Team Rising Sun.
Do I click here? Right. Something popped up. This is okay. So do I click? So hello, thank you for having us. I know it's been a long morning, but I hope that you would listen to our fabulous team. My name is Sayumi. I'd like to introduce you to Eric, Ayano, Chris, Tomo, Chloe, and Lisa. Me and Eric will be your presenter today. Our group project is called the Okawa School of 311 National Museum, Bridging the Tragic Past to a Bright Future. So to begin with, you might ask the exact number of the victims directly affected by the 311 earthquake and triple disaster. Okay, it's not working. So I'm sorry. So if you add the total of the deaths, the injured, the missing, it adds to a total number of 24,667 people, and that's only the number that are people who are directly affected. If you add the total number who are indirectly affected, such as lost friends, family members, co-workers, the number will be even larger. Many people know the devastating fact of this situation, but are many people aware that there are 0 museums, official national museums, to honor those who are lost? There is a memorial for the 9/11 terrorist attack that happened in New York City. There is a peace memorial for the bombing that occurred after the war in Hiroshima. We believe that the 3/11 victims deserve a museum and a memorial to preserve their memories, and we want to build it here, in the remains of Okawa Elementary School, located in Miyagi Prefecture. So let me tell you the story about Okawa Elementary School. On the day of 3/11, 108 students came to school that day like any other day, but only 4 were able to go home that day. 13 enthusiastic teachers came to school to educate their students, but only 3 survived. Why did this happen? They were outside the building when the warning came, but they did not have a shared evacuation plan. So this is only one of the many personal stories behind the disaster. I have family in the Tohoku area. All my relatives are from the northern part of Japan. We had Lisa. She was actually volunteering in this very elementary school. Tomo went to volunteer work for Tohoku area, and Ayano is from Sendai, which I'm sure that everybody has heard of before. So there's a personal story behind every disaster, and we want to preserve the memory, but also to educate the future generation. This brings me to my next point. So why Okawa Elementary School? Well, out of the many prefectures that were hit by the disaster, Miyagi Prefecture is the most damaged. I'm sorry, this is in Japanese, but you can see the visual effect that this is the number of the people who were directly affected. So we believe that this will be a great place to represent kind of the disastrous effect that a tsunami can have. So our plan is to preserve the memories of those lost, but to also educate the future generation by bridging the tragic past to a bright future. So this building is really symbolic. we plan to build a museum in the classroom that the very students learned in. You can kind of see the black chalkboard behind that. Those are the remains. We plan to build kind of a lounge for local people and other tourists can gather to share their information. We plan to leave the remains of the building to show to preserve the memories and also to show the effects a tsunami can have on a building. So this is the story behind our project. I would now like to have Eric go into the details. That's the arrow.
All right, I'd like to thank Sayumi for that great introduction. I think she did a great job explaining why this needs to be built, why the people of Japan and Tohoku need a place to come together to memorialize, and why the children of Japan need a place to come and learn about how they can react to the next natural disaster and how they can rebuild their communities. So the next question that I would like to ask is actually not up here. The next question is, why not? So why not us? Why not a group of 7 college students who've never met each other that came together from opposite sides of the world? Why should we not be the ones to take the lead on this project? Why should we not give this community what they so desperately need and want? When Lisa was in the Tohoku area at that elementary school, she spoke to people in the community and she read news articles that said the people of the community come to that school in its condition right now, which you just saw, and they come there to remember who they lost, the children and the teachers, and we want to preserve that for them. So why not us? That's the question that we're going to ask to a lot of you guys in the crowd when we do come to build this place. We're going to ask, why would you not want to donate to this great cause? So it's an ambitious plan, and I'm going to lay that out for you, but keep that in your mind. Why not? Why should it not be achievable? So to get this ambitious plan done, we're going to have 2 main objectives. So the first objective is building the museum. So it's cleaning up a lot of the grounds. Obviously, as we said, we're going to preserve a large portion of it as it is, but parts we're going to be renovating to make habitable now. So that's the first objective. And the second objective is to fill that museum. So we're going to fill it with employees and exhibits. Most of those employees will be from the community that was so desperately hit. And as you can see here, there's this very specific date that we have laid out, and it's March 11th, 2021. So our goal is to open this museum for the community on the 10th anniversary of the 3/11 disaster. So it's an ambitious plan, and I am excited to show you how we're going to get there and how you're going to help us.
So a group of college students, well, who's actually going to be in charge? We have a very credible partner that we want to appoint, which is Ms. Akemi Yamauchi. Some of you might actually recognize her because she was giving a speech at a TEDx Tohoku. So you can imagine like a TEDx event, and she was the leading speaker to be there. To give a little bit more background on her, ever since the 3/11 disaster, she has been doing research on restoration efforts and also local research. She published a book called A Study of Tohoku for Children. We thought this was a perfect person, a candidate to have to, her study focuses on Tohoku's identity, but also on children. So who will we be partnering with? This will be our cross-sector partnership. We have it laid out from the business sector. We have Coca-Cola Takenaka, which is a construction company in Japan. NEC, we hope that they would give us some in-kind donations for computers, Fuji Xerox for pictures, and also we cannot leave out the local and national government. Local cooperation with the local government is key to this project because we want to balance the local community's voice and also speak for all the other victims in the nation who are affected by the disaster. Also, the civil society sector, we hope to, to have Maki Biz. They will be a leading organization. They'll be in charge of maintaining the museum after it is built. And also Japan Platform. I'm sure the Japanese students have all heard of this. This is the umbrella platform
that's trying to be the umbrella platform for disaster recovery in Japan. We hope that they will be able to provide the expertise on disaster relief. Also, we cannot leave out the Japanese Association of Museums. We hope to work with and also be part of this association.
All right, I think Sayumi did a great job of showing the cross-sector relationships, because this project is, it's not just going to be us going to the museum, it's going to be an all-hands-on-deck approach, and we plan on using every resource that Japan has to offer to build this museum. We're going to use local businesses, and as I'll show later, we hope to use this museum as a catalyst to hopefully spark some economic recovery in the area. So how are we going to get to that point? As I said, we want to have this wrapped up in time for the 10th anniversary. So as far as the first objective, which is actually building the museum, we're going to have to get the ball rolling soon, because as most of you guys probably know, working with governments is not the easiest thing in the world, and we're going to be reaching out to local government officials soon. We're going to be working with Architecture for Humanity and Maki Biz, which is a program that they have, and we want to become a subsidiary of that group so that donors can feel comfortable when they are writing very large checks to a group of 7 college students. And we'll be working with corporate partners and acquiring the deed for the building, and then we'll be launching the construction. And filling that museum is also a monumental task. We're going to have to get our project leader on board, and we're going to have her recruit for several positions that are going to be used to train local citizens as tour guides. That's one of the pride points for our project. So we see this as an opportunity to get the local citizens involved in the memorialization and let that healing process begin. So that it's going to be their museum. We're just here to help them build it. But they're going to be the ones taking all of us on a tour when we go visit. And they're going to be the ones that are educating the children in their community on how to recover from a disaster. So what's going to be in the museum is a multifaceted vision here. So as we've talked about so far, we've been focused on the Okawa region and what's been going on there. But we want to tell the story of what happened all across Japan. So that includes the other 2 parts of the triple disaster. So we want to talk about the nuclear meltdown, and we want to talk about the earthquake. And these are important issues, and we don't plan on shying away from any national issue because it's uncomfortable or because people may not approve of talking about it, because we have learned from the people in that community that these things need to be talked about and addressed. We want to have interactive exhibits, so we want to show the children what it is like to react in a natural disaster situation, but we also want to educate them. So we wanted to show them what it was like to be there on that day, but we also want to teach them how they can react when the next one comes. And we want to show them not only how do you react right after, but how do you react a year later. So we want to work on building the civil society, which is what we're talking about through this program, the TOMODACHI program. We want to talk about that on the ground with these children, show them how they can empower themselves to build their communities back. And as I've said, this is an ambitious project, so the financial aspects of it are equally grand, and we're going to be asking for help, as I said, from a lot of different groups for that. And the best part about the financial picture here is that once it is built, we envision it being a completely sustainable operation. So we're going to require a lot of donations for capital up front as far as doing the renovations and getting the ball rolling. But we also see donations and ticket sales being a driving force for the sustainability and the long-term growth of the project. And just as a side note, so the ticket sales, it's going to be similar structure to the Holocaust Memorial in Washington, D.C., where it's a suggested donation, so a lot of people give more, and we obviously are not going to turn anyone away. So anyone in the community that wants to come visit can come there. So here we have some additional fundraising mechanisms that we're going to use. Obviously, we have a large number to reach, so we're really going to be looking deep for those numbers, and it includes groups like the Ford Foundation, and we're going to be asking for electronic equipment, construction materials, and the communication outreach strategy. It's fairly similar to what you've been hearing from some of the other groups: social media strategy, multimedia. We're going to be using the old school techniques, newspapers and radios. If any of you guys still use those, we will be reaching out on those. The Japanese Association of Museums is really our primary outreach organization because they're the ones that can connect us to other organizations and how we're going to get the artifacts to fill our museum. And an evaluation, so the monthly meeting, it seems like a real catch-all term, but that involves reviewing all of the objectives and action steps that we've laid out, and each of those objectives are specific and measurable and time-bound, so that's going to be something that we can easily follow up on and see how it's working. Afterwards, once it opens, we're going to take a look at the visitor data, making sure that we're reaching all the demographics that we want to.
So I think Eric did a fantastic job representing the opinions of the group. I would now like to yield the floor to every member in our group, starting from Ayano, of her personal reflections.
Hi, I'm Ayana Sato from the University of Tokyo. And at first, I didn't have any confidence with this project because I'm from Sendai, and it reminds me of the sadness and the disaster. And however, this project and the members, the member gives me the resilience and the hope. Thank you.
Through this project, I learned that sometimes the greatest strength is through the hope and energy you can bring to others. And after this project is over, I hope to bring that hope and energy to both Tohoku and my hometown of Dayton, Ohio. And my name is Chris Smith from the University of Dayton.
Hi, I'm Tomo from Kyoto University. I learned the importance of friendship, again, that enable us to work together comfortably. That's why we did a good job today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chloe Wingeter from St. Lawrence University, and I learned that in creating a project, listening to the silences is just as important as listening to what is said.
Hello, I'm Lisa Matsumoto from Kyushu University. I learned the importance of balancing the needs of victims and the needs of society.
What I've learned mostly is that you can lock 7 people from all walks of life in a room together for a weekend, and they can come out with something pretty special, and I think that's what we did.
What I've learned is I realized the power of each individual, but also the power of the teamwork that when everybody is involved. So I think that we demonstrated it pretty well, the teamwork. Are there any questions?
All right, thank you for your presentation. Eric, as you said, you laid out sort of an ambitious program. Being from New York myself, I appreciate how you parallel the 9/11 event. We saw several things as a result of that tragedy. It brought together the community, it brought together government, it brought together also the victims, or not the victims, but the victims' families that were affected by that tragedy. And how do you propose to address what should come up and as did come up in the 9/11 incident, where there's different points of views as to how the building should be recreated and how it should be utilized in the future? How would you address those concerns that might come up?
So I can,
which can also affect your timeline because there's delays and starts and stops as there's hearings and various open dialogue to sort of get around those things.
That is actually the same, a lot of discussion that's been going on in the group because we have Ayano from Sendai and Lisa has actually seen the roots of this elementary school, that she heard the local voices saying that we want to preserve the elementary school as it is to just, bring up the memories. So as we had in like the first slides,
I'm sorry, it's taking time, but. So I think this layout really symbolizes what a project really is for. This is a compromise between leaving the remains as it is, but also reconstructing it. Also the title, Bridging the Tragic Past to a Bright Future. The remains actually look like a bridge. The museums represent the past, which is the personal belongings of the people who were lost. And the community center represents the future, which is where local people come to communicate, where tourists come and revive the community. So we actually think that it may be hard, but we are aiming for the 10th anniversary. So we think that the time that it takes to construct will also help them heal their wounds as well.
Thank you very much.
Additionally, if I may add, our timeline of opening on the 10th anniversary also helps us to give us that window of time to engage in dialogue with local government. And once it's built, we will have our community outreach programs, which will allow us to hear where the local community wants to go with the project and how we should expand it.
And that's an excellent point. Thank you for adding that.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. It was very interesting. I have two questions. One, in the team's view, which sense the museum can lead can catalyze transformation in the civil society based on the March 11 event? So what would be the expected medium long-term goals for establishment of the museum of that magnitude? As mentioned, it's a very ambitious plan, but can you share your thoughts, since you're 7 students, but I believe they will need some kind of organization structure or maybe some governance in place. So can you share what kind of, what the team vision is governance structure for such an ambitious plan? Thank you.
I'm sorry, is the question that what would the government think? Or?
Governance.
Governance.
Yeah, for the museum.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Of this initiative.
Yes.
The decision-making process, because there's a lot of construction, there will be EPC, there's the maintenance, which was very large, but particularly the project like this, there's a lot of construction is a key risk and can take to delays, cost overrun, things like that. Thank you.
So that's a great question. What we like about our project, as far as, even though it's ambitious, we're going to really be able to fit ourselves into the existing kind of groups and infrastructure in Japan. So as you might have heard us talk about Maki Biz, which is an existing subsidiary of Architecture for Humanity. So Architecture for Humanity is an international organization that works to promote the arts and building after disasters. So what we're going to do is go to Maki Biz and become one of their programs. So that will help not only with the funding for construction and other aspects as far as working with the government getting permits and things like that, but they actually they have their own contracting services that they use. So we think that's a major asset of our plan, is that we're not going to be out there, we're not going to be signing contracts, we're going to be working with a established organization that will be doing that for us.
And also, if I may add, this is a very cross-sector partnership program project that we were working on. I'm pretty sure that this may be new in Japan because we are involving many sectors. As he has mentioned, Architecture for Humanity, our main partnership or the main organizing group would be under Maki Biz. However, we could not do this without the cooperation of the local government, which we hope to get most of our funds. And also from Takenaka, there's a Japanese construction company. So the fear of having an unstable grounds or unstable, unfamiliar knowledge about constructing, we thought we would ask the experts, especially those located in Japan.
And the first question is about what you sense the museum can, what your thoughts of the transformation in the civil society, what are the basic medium-long-term goals of the establishment of the museum?
Long-term goals of establishing the museum. Oh, okay. Would anyone like to answer the question?
Sure. Among our long-term goals for establishing the museum, first of all, complementing civil society is By hiring locally and giving a center for tourism in this location, we would have a way for other businesses to be drawn there. So like say a restaurant for people who visit the museum, and things will flow from there. And additionally, by all the connections we make throughout civil society, the museum itself, because we have a yearly profit once we've been established, we can help to, in addition, fund some other initiatives within Japan and cooperate with them, and perhaps even incorporate them into our community outreach programming.
I'd like to add to that too. So the community outreach program that we have envisioned for the museum is built to do the education facet that we've been talking about. So that's for children, so we can bring them in on field trips and have maybe somebody from a civil society organization speak to them, just like they've spoken to us about how they can get involved in helping their communities. So that's a small thing that we can do. Another thing that we can do is incorporate groups like the Tomodachi Initiative in our exhibitions. So it's a great example of how the recovery has played out as far as involving the civil society organizations. So we want to show people how the country recovered after the disaster.
Any additional questions?
I'm sorry, but thank you for your presentation. I don't have any particular issues, but I have two comments. The first is, this is rather sensitive issue because of the establishing the memorials at the site of Okawa elementary schools, because there's a litigation between the family of survivors against the city board and the education board. And so this is quite sensitive. But however, I think this is a very good idea to solve the, some conflict between the families and schools and city authorities. That's my first comment. The second comment is I'm quite sure this idea will capture the national attention, so that with regard to the time schedules or timetables of your project, I think it's better to divide into two stages. One is the first step is to establish some managing board of developing these ideas, and then second stage is to develop the plan to receive the donation, not only from Japan but also from world itself. And so these are my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Since it's 12, we will just ask you, because I don't think each one had a chance to say your university name. I know you said your name, so why don't you have that? Each says name and university.
Hi, my name is Sayumi Kawashima. I come from Mitsubishi University.
My name is Eric Popp. I come from the University of Massachusetts in Amherst.
I'm Ayana Sato from the University of Tokyo.
Hi, my name is Chris Smith from the University of Dayton.
Hi, I'm Tomohiro Otonashi. I'm from Kyoto University.
Hi, I'm Chloe Wingeter from St. Lawrence University.
Hi, I'm Lisa Matsumoto from Kyushu University.
Thank you, Team Rising Sun. We will give a little time to the three judges to calibrate together and announce two winning teams. In the meantime, everyone can have a little break to get some more coffee or tea, and we will hear the news after they are done. We have judges back, and they have news to share. As I explained at the beginning of this event, two winning teams will have a chance to travel to the Tohoku region. US students will be traveling from all over the US, and Japanese students from the two winning teams will gather in Tokyo, and they will be joining Waseda University program and go to the Tohoku region. Thanks to Waseda University's support for the Japanese students, and also Morgan Stanley, which is one of the 4 funders to provide additional funding for the US students to travel to the Tohoku region. Let me have President Uchida announce the news.
Well, anyway, it was a very tough decision, and I found all the presentations are quite good and very innovative and imaginative, and also the way of presentation is very nice. And so it was very difficult to, well, to decide. But anyhow, the three judges came to the conclusion, and so, well, well, but anyway, I need to, to say the result of our decision. Well, first prize go to Kizuna. Second prize go to Kibo. Congratulations for those teams, but the third prize go to Rising Sun. Fourth prize go to Henkaku. We all judges are very much appreciated your wonderful ideas, wonderful presentation. Thank you very much for your participation. Congratulations.
I would like to conclude, every one of you did a wonderful job. Do not take it as first, second, third, fourth. You are all winners. I really like to say that. Even after the networking session, everyone came to the Washington Center headquarters, stayed until 11:30 last night, and went back to their hotel, continued to communicate via email and chatting, and woke up early this morning. All your hard work is greatly appreciated. As the program director of this program, I'm so proud of every one of you, and I'm gonna miss you. All these students will be going to, okay, no more emotion, going to closing lunch, and we will announce their pledge that they came up with yesterday, and they will get to see the US students again in summer. Again, we have a online platform that we share among all the program mates, and I look forward to keeping in touch with everyone. I would like to recognize Susan Masala, the Executive Vice President from USGC. Thank you. And Maya Fisher, the Program Manager at the US Japan Council. Thank you. And Pilar Fernandez, our Senior VP and my partner. And my boss, who has been working extremely hard with me. And I would like to also recognize our faculty advisor for the Building the Tomodachi Generation program, Professor and Linda Tatsu, the Managing Director of Development at the Washington Center. And Mr. Nobuyaki Yasunaga-san. Nobuyaki Yasunaga-san, thank you. And Kobayashi-san, thank you very much. Did I forget anyone? Oh, Yasunaga-san is over there. And I would like to also thank the program coordinator, Kyle Bergman. He has been serving multiple roles, and part of his role was an RA for students at the hotel as well. So thank you for all the extra work. Lastly, I would like to thank all judges from 3 different organizations. I would like to share one personal story about Christopher Cook. He actually got to review the program design first because Pilar and I worked together, and we got to share the project with him at first because he happened to be there. So I would like to thank the bond that we built together over the birth of this project. And Mr. Mori from Inter-American Development Bank, thank you very much. Okay, I can go on and on, but I know everybody might be ready for lunch, so I will conclude here. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you very much. We are very proud of you. Feel free to go.